Hello, it is I, Mr. Stormtrooper Man, IR Smart, and it's another video time. And yeah, so today, so you could probably guess that I kind of like Star Wars. You see, I have this helmet, I have a Star Wars shirt on. You can't really see it, but like it says Star Wars on it. I don't know if you can see it very well. I mean I always wear Star Wars shirts. I'll show you them all one time later. That dress over there, there's an entire drawer just filled with Star Wars shirts. It's great. There's a Star Wars poster right there. It's got the Death Star on it. I don't know if you can see it that well. I have um I have this. It's the Star Wars Special Edition from what is this from? This is from 1997. This is the Special Edition changes. This was the first one where George Lucas went back and made it so that Greedo shoots first. Yeah, this is very special. This is on VHS. This is one of my prized possessions right here. But that's beyond the point. The point is that I like Star Wars one. You can't see behind the camera. There's all like Star Wars posters and stuff back there. I have this figure I got for Christmas of Obi-Wan, our Lord and Savior. I have him as a Lego figure. It's one of these Buildable figures they released a couple years ago. What else do I have? Oh yeah, here's all the Star Wars movies on DVD. We got the prequels. We got Solo. We got Rogue One. We got the originals. We got Force Awakens. We got Last Jedi. And sometime soon I'll have to get Rise of Skywalker. It comes out on DVD, but it's not out yet. So it's not complete yet. And what else? Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff. But the point is, I really like Star Wars, and I have for a long time. You probably know this, and I think I've made the point clear after literally talking about it for about 2 minutes here. So, yeah. What am I getting at? Up until November 12th of last year, 2019, I had never watched Star Wars The Clone Wars. I know, right? It's insane. Everyone talks about how great Star Wars The Clone Wars is, and it came out in what, like the 2006 maybe? I don't know. But yeah, it's absolutely wild. But then Disney Plus came out, and I started watching it. So yeah, and just yesterday, I watched the last episode of episode 6. I mean, the last episode of season 6. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I do that sometimes. But yeah, so I've watched all the Clone Wars now, and it's wild. And so maybe think to yourself, all right, I are smart. Why have you waited until now to watch the Clone Wars? I'm getting there. So yeah, see on here, you can watch on Disney Plus. They have all the movies. They have where is it? Yeah, originally there was Star Wars: The Clone Wars movie, which is an hour and a half long. That came out in 2007. I watched that, and then there's Star Wars: The Clone Wars the series, which is 6 seasons long. Season 7 coming in February on Disney Plus. Very exciting. But yeah, so we got to go back to the beginning, right? Back when I was a wee lad, all right, back in elementary school, maybe I don't know, when all this stuff was coming out. You see, my parents had some very weird rules on about television and stuff, because Clone Wars was on TV. It was on Cartoon Network. But because of certain shows, like I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob because SpongeBob said like stupid and bikini bottom, and apparently that's inappropriate or something. So I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob at all. And also, like there were some shows on Cartoon Network that some other shows besides Star Wars: The Clone Wars that said like stupid and stuff. So my parents were like, "Yeah, you're not allowed to watch anything on Cartoon Network," which meant Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So I was never allowed to watch it, and I'm very upset about this fact. But it's beyond the point. And so up until Disney Plus came out, I had never watched the Clone Wars. I always branded myself as a big Star Wars fan, and people were always like, "Oh yeah, have you watched Clone Wars?" And I was like, no, sorry, I haven't. I haven't watched Clone Wars. I'm sorry." They were like, "What? You're such a big." I know, all right. I know. I'm the big Star Wars fan. It's like the one thing I have. I hold up, but I hadn't watched Clone Wars. But now I have. I watched it when Disney Plus came out because the whole thing is on Disney Plus. And yeah, I must say it was very enjoyable. Season 1 is very epic. There's a lot of good episodes in there. I think my personal favorite may have been episode 5 of that, which was Rookies. That one was where they first introduced Fives, and Fives is the best. And spoiler for season 6, but I think I'm like the one person who up until now hasn't seen it. Fives dies, unfortunately. It's very sad. And I'm really sad. I was actually really sad when Fives died. He was so good. He was like my favorite character. So you see him go from like just a clone trooper to like training to be an ARC trooper. Then he becomes an ARC trooper. Then he's with the 501st. And then he unveils the plot of Order 66 and is killed before he can tell everyone about it. It's so sad. Like honestly, like I was under the impression like, all right, yeah, it's a good show. It's Star Wars. I want to watch it. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. Clone Wars is like really good, I must say. Like all the characters are great. Honestly, the whole thing with Ahsoka, I had never understood. I never knew who Ahsoka was until I watched this. She's honestly pretty great. Not gonna lie. I didn't really like her at the start, but as the show progressed in the later seasons, I really enjoyed her. Anakin and Obi-Wan, their dynamic. I love both those characters. I like how we get to see a little bit of Anakin's dark side in it. I think that's really cool. Also, I like how halfway like it seems like between season 3 and 4, they change their appearances and they look and try to transitions more and more closer to what they look like in episode 3. And I think in season 4 they go from phase 1 to phase 2 clones, which is pretty great. Yeah, I just think it's all really epic. Clone Wars, very enjoyable. I'm glad that I finally watched it. And yeah, so everyone can stop making fun of me now. All right, I've watched Clone Wars. I understand it now. All right, because people have been talking about it for so long, and now I've watched Clone Wars. It feels good to say that. And I don't really know how to express how much like this show's really good. The whole thing with like the bounty hunters and like Palpatine and Dooku and all the clones. Oh, the clones. I don't, the thing is that like in the movies, the clones are just there. They're CGI. They fight droids, and that's all they do. In this show, they really personify the clones. Like they're all unique and different, which is fascinating. And then it makes Order 66 in Episode 3 so much more sad after you watch Clone Wars, because you're like, that's Cody, and he's shooting at Obi-Wan, and they've been together for like years, and this trust that they've built up, and not just him, like all the other clones and their Jedi Masters, they've all been working together, and then just with like this by Palpatine, bam, they all turn on the Jedi and start killing them. In the movie, it's pretty sad, but once you've actually seen the trust and the bond that the Jedi and these clones have, oh my gosh, it's so good. Dave Filoni, the absolute legend behind all this, is an absolute lad. All right, he's crazy, madman. Just made such a good thing. I also liked how just some other random characters show up in there, like Boba Fett's in there. He has a whole thing where he's mad that his dad died. All right. What else? There's a bunch of politics episodes. Some of the politics ones get kind of boring because it's literally just the Senate for 22 minutes. And I kind of like government, but that can get kind of boring, not gonna lie. So when they get back to like the actual hunting stuff or whatever and like fighting and such, it's good stuff. All the episodes on the Citadel, that was cool. The prison planet, I really enjoyed those. And they brought in Tarkin. I didn't know. I didn't even know Tarkin was in the Republic before he was in the Empire. That's cool. The Death Star man himself. That's actually really cool. Um, yeah, absolutely wild. All right, and then yeah, you get later into it, and stuff gets deeper and darker, and the show just gets better each season. I think it just keeps getting better and better as you get closer, and everything starts layering on. Because then you're like, the Jedi are like, all right, there's a real plot going on. Something's wrong. Like, and then they start to notice the thing with the chips that Fives discovers, and Yoda goes on his whole individual quest with Qui-Gon, and that's after there's a whole thing with uh, like Jar Jar and Mace Windu go on a whole 2-episode adventure in season 6 for some reason. It's kind of weird. Um, oh, what was it in season 4? There were some really good episodes in there. Like where was it? The Umbara episodes. There was like 3 or 4 of them. Oh, with Krell. Oh, that was so good. That was absolutely wild. Where Krell is like slowly killing off the clones because he's a Dark Jedi, and they all fight him, and it's so good, very enjoyable to watch, very entertaining. And then there was all the Mandalorian stuff. I didn't even realize this until I watched Clone Wars, but like yeah, I was watching them at the same time, Clone Wars and the Mandalorian, but they actually tied into each other, which is really cool. I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot of episodes about Mandalore in the Clone Wars, and then the show was called The Mandalorian. So the other show, man. So yeah, the whole thing where Obi-Wan becomes a bounty hunter. That's cool. I enjoyed that. The whole Dathomir thing. We're getting to Dathomir, and Ventress is betrayed by Dooku. That's really cool. And then Savage Opress shows up, voiced by Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown, the absolute legend, who's done so much voice acting. He's Savage Opress. He was in an episode of The Mandalorian. He was Mr. Krabs himself. Like, oh, that was a real treat to see Clancy Brown in this. I didn't even know he was in this. And then at the end of season 4, we get Darth Maul, and then we get more of that in season 5. That's really cool. Oh, another character, Hondo. I really liked Hondo, like the pirate guy. I just like he kept showing up in just the most weird places, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's you again, Hondo," and he's like, "Hey, it's me," and yeah, it's absolutely crazy. The whole thing with the Padawans, where they go to Ilum, that was cool, especially because Ilum showed up in Jedi Fallen Order, and that was a cool thing. I might talk about Jedi Fallen Order later because I really liked that game. Um, yeah, the whole episode with the droids getting lost in like a desert and stuff, that was kind of weird. I don't know about that one. Maul comes back. They had the whole things with Maul and taking over Death Watch. That was really cool. And then Obi-Wan watches Satine die. That was really sad. And then, oh my gosh. Then there was the whole thing where the Maul and Savage Breath fight Palpatine. Oh, that was crazy. I loved that. That was so good. That was such a good fight. That was amazing to watch. And the whole thing with Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. Oh, that was deep. That was like whoa. Oh, huge plot. Luminara just betraying the Jedi. That was insane. Or, no, it was Barriss. I'm sorry, not Luminara. The Luminara was Parawan Barriss. Barriss like becoming a traitor and stuff. That was cool. That was kind of out of the blue. Yeah, then we get into the whole Order 66 thing. The whole thing with Clovis coming back. He was just a weird character that was there. Anakin getting pissed whenever he was in like within 2 feet of Padme, being like, "Get away from her!" And then Clovis is like, "I literally just said hi, Anakin. Can you?" Yeah, the whole Anakin and Padme thing. It's absolutely whack because they're trying to tie the weird love story writing from 2 and 3 and kind of put it together in a way that makes sense, which is kind of impossible. So I like what they did because Anakin and Padme love story is just absolutely wild. But yeah, the whole thing with Yoda at the end, meeting with Qui-Gon, I think that was the best they could to tie up what they had. But yeah, it's the Clone Wars. It was really enjoyable, I must say. I'm glad I watched it now because it's good, and now I'm really excited for season 7 coming out this February. It's not very long away now, so yeah, you can all stop making fun of me. I finally watched the Clone Wars now. I enjoyed it. Ah. So yeah, there it is. I watched Clone Wars now. I don't know what else to say. Goodbye.